Hello there, welcome to Star Atlas today, the first news outlet of the Metaverse. So we just finished the Town Hall number 16, which was quite interesting and a lot of new information was divulged. So let's get right into it. So the recap was that the team had a lot of growth past weeks, just like diarrhea. It was explosive. They had some hiccups during the Galactic Asset offering, and we saw that. They had some technical problems when they were trying to set some price. Sometimes one of the ships had a delay of about half an hour. They mentioned that they had trouble selling into a market where the bids were higher than what they were trying to set as a price. So this was namely the case when they were trying to sell the Ogrica Tripid, which had bids up to $25,000. So when they arrived with their price of $9,000, they started hitting all the bids up from $25,000 down to $9,000. And that took a lot of time. They had to write a script last minute that would enable them to do 10 units at a time, but now I think they figured it out. They said in the future, when they will do one of these sales, they will clear the whole book. So if you've put some sells, if you've put some buys in the book before going to bed, they will just erase everything and put in their own bid. And then people can start buying or selling whatever price they have. So that's a new development, and that's going to make the future sales quite interesting. And hopefully we can get more of those ships at the fair price instead of those people front running the books. That's not going to happen anymore. They mentioned that the team is expected to grow a lot in the future, so 300 to 400% in the next year. That means that by the same time next year, they would have about 500 people in the team, which is quite a lot. They also touched upon the sensitive topic of vesting schedules. They said that the team had 5% that been released now, and that 95% was released over the next 2 years on a daily basis. So every day they get a percentage of that 95% that's coming to them every day. Now, the next questions were more about gameplay. They mentioned that the ship missions, which is the next phase of the game, you'll be able to command more than one ship, so you'll be able to command entire fleets. They also said that they had a system put in place where you can assist in a mission. So let's say you're trying to do a mission where you're missing a freight ship, or you're missing a rescue ship. Then you can ask someone, whether it's in your guild or in your faction or someone around, you can ask him to come and help you do that mission. That's quite a cool feature that they added. Now, one of the big messages that they came out with, one of the big announcements, was that they do not plan to reissue ships in the future, the same ships. So they had mentioned that they would possibly reissue Generation 2 or Generation 3 of the same ship if there was too much of a price increase, but they decided to scrap that. I think that's a good thing, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the price of ships is going to skyrocket in the future. So obviously that's good for people that have bought ships. It's going to keep the supply fixed, which is a good thing. But you also have to remember that until the end of the year, they're still going to issue about 30 new ships. And these 30 new ships are still going to have an effect on the overall supply of ships. I mean, there's only just so many ships that we can buy with our money. And we've already bought a lot of ships, I guess. And these additional ships are just going to weigh down on the price of all the ships. So that's something to keep in mind. Regarding the structures, so they mentioned that mining is not something that's going to be introduced in the first iteration of the game. Something that's going to come probably more in December. That's also according to the countdown that's on the marketplace. You look at marketplace structures, there's a countdown, 111 days. So that means that all the structures don't have any utility as we speak right now. So all these claim stakes, all these mining drills, space station and power plants, there's no utility for them. And I'm quite happy that they confirmed this because, spoiler alert, I have sold all of my structures beforehand. And this is not financial advice, but if I were you, I would sell these because there's no utility for them. What you can do with that money is you can buy ships, which will have a utility in the game right now. But more than that, these are selling at ridiculous prices. Just check the market real quick. So claim stakes tier 3 are selling at a price of, you could sell them at $1,000 roughly. By my calculations, a tier 3 stake should not be worth more than about $300. And that's if I take the calculation. The way I calculated this is you had a set of posters, a value, and you had a set of rewards given with them. And if you give a value to everything of these, every single one of these items, if you give them the value and make it accumulate to the price that is given here, it will come up with a price of about $15 for a mining drill. The power plant I think was something like $15 and the space station about $30. So in my opinion, there's not much use keeping them, especially given that you can reinvest them. I mean, look at these prices. The mining drill is selling for 112. I mean, that's a pretty good price. That's like almost 10x. So I'm putting my words, I've already sold everything, so that's what I did. I sold all my structures and I've reinvested them in ships. They also had they confirmed that licenses, so captain licenses, pilot licenses will be dropped in our wallets if we buy a ship. So if you bought a ship that's a 2-seater or more, or a 3-seater or more, then you will get that license for free with the ship. And this is also a great news because you went in the market and looked at the price of the licenses. This is just outrageous. Captain's license selling for 9,000, 15,000, 50,000. I mean, there's even someone still bidding it at 3,500. We know that this is probably going to be worthless now. So if you still have a captain's license, I would just try to hit those bids. That's what I did for myself. I just sold my captain's license. And then finally, they mentioned that Tigu, which is a lovely collectible cat, is going to be sold before the minigame. So I'm quite happy about that because it was an expensive item, Tigu. I think I sold mine for like 1,000. Let me just find it. Selling right now for, okay, prices dropped a bit, 345, 240. But if you look at the description, it says it's a common item. Common usually means that there's a lot of them. The X4 is common, the Opel Jet is common, and there's like 180,000 units of those. So I'm expecting that supply to increase quite a lot. And that's why I sold my TV ahead of time when it was trading at around 1,000. Now, the licenses I had already sold as well ahead of time because they were also mentioned as common and uncommon for the captain's license. So a supply of 72, that's pretty rare. That just didn't fit with uncommon. So in my opinion, it just made sense that these would be released in the future. So that's why I sold them. And I think it was a good call given the confirmation today that the licenses will be given with the ships. So these are the news that we had today in the town hall. If you have any questions, please leave a comment in the commentary sections and we'll try to answer them for you in the future.